7th at the Romo Fijo. But that'll be tonight. Another thing, too, that when we were in Louisville, everything has Muhammad Ali's name on it because he's from Louisville, Kentucky. Their airport is named for Muhammad Ali. And I had to wonder, I'm like, what kind of fight did they have over that? Because you know how local legislatures can be, no matter how important it might be locally to be able to memorialize somebody in that way. Muhammad Ali International Airport is what you fly into. We drove, but that's what you fly into. You know, and there are a lot of famous people from Louisville, Kentucky, and I wonder how he's arguably the most famous. You know, there was a time where Muhammad Ali was the most famous person in the world. You know, he was like the Michael Jordan of his day, I think it's fair to say. And he changed his name when he was, in his early 20s. So he hadn't been Cassius Clay for long. But there's a lot of famous, Poundcake knows this woman, Nicole Scherzinger.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Louisville, Kentucky. There you go. The Pussycat Dolls.
She doesn't seem...
Why not Pussycat Dolls International Airport?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise grew up there. The unbelievably hot Desi Lydic over there at The Daily Show. She's from there. Jennifer Lawrence is from Louisville, Kentucky. You would think, why not Pussycat Dolls International Airport?
This may be a stupid question, but I'm curious.
Those are my favorite kind.
Can someone look like they're from someplace?
You look like you're from Oberlin, Ohio.
Do I look like I'm from Oberlin? Do I look like a guy from Oberlin?
I didn't know anything about Oberlin, Ohio before I moved here, other than there was a college there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met you, and I go, oh, I totally get it now.
Yeah, I'm a rare breed. There's only a few thousand of us in the whole world. Oberlin College natives, or Oberlin natives, period.
Mm-hmm.
Because my graduating class, again, was like 98.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at people, despite the fact that they might have, like, identifying clothing, can someone look like they're from someplace? Because Nicole Scherzinger, I always thought, not that I gave it much thought, but when I looked at her, I don't think Louisville, Kentucky. I think she's a California girl because she looks like...
Yeah, but this is a nation of immigrants.
I know.
I mean, there are people everywhere, right? So,
but you look like you're from Chicago.
I don't.
Yes, I
if you didn't know where I was from, you wouldn't look at me and go, "Oh, I know."
But like, if you say you're from Chicago, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. You look like you're from Chicago.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
What part of me?
Just the way you carry yourself, the way you
carry myself,
the way you look.
This is my point. You
like
cannot tell.
It's like
you cannot
guess
tell where someone's from by looking at.
Or trying to guess someone's birthday or their sign by looking at them. You go, oh, I know.
You look like a Taurus.
Yeah, nobody looks like anything.
Did you say a tourist or a Taurus?
Taurus.
Yeah, Taurus. Strong like bull.
I think I look like a Virgo. I definitely look like
a
Virgo.
None of this means anything. I don't know what you're talking about. What does that mean?
I don't know. You just give an aura about yourself, and you can look like something. You can look like
I think you're working backwards with what you do know about people. If you met someone that you had never met before, you probably it would be impossible to figure out where they were from by looking at them.
Well, when people tell me where they're from, like if I find out where they're from and I'm like, oh, that doesn't match. Like Andy Cohen is from St. Louis. He doesn't look like a guy that's from St. Louis.
John Hamm is from St. Louis too, and he looks like Nikki Glazer is from St. Louis.
I don't know.
John Goodman is from St. Louis. So you look at somebody and go, well, he doesn't look like he's from St. Louis. That's because you associate Andy Cohen with a whole bunch of other things. You think of him as the New York Times Square New Year's Eve guy.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, St. Louis. But that's because you've put all that other stuff on him.
I think Brad Pitt is also from St. Louis. He doesn't look like he's from St. Louis.
Somewhere in Missouri, yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't look like... So,
but then you group all those guys together, and you're like, oh, look at all the hot guys from St. Louis. So there you go. Now they all kind of do look like they're from St. Louis.
But Poundcake, what I'm inferring...
Especially John Goodman, the hottest of them all.
What I'm inferring from your comments are that really hot people have to be from one of the coasts.
That's not necessarily what I'm saying.
Well, then how do you come to the conclusion that Brad Pitt, quote, doesn't look like he's from Missouri?
I don't know.
Well, you're the one who brought it up. That's why I'm hoping. I don't know either.
But that's why I said it was a stupid question, because I don't know if you can.
Well, it's not a stupid question. I'm curious how your brain works, and but.
But have you ever looked at someone and be like, oh, wow, you don't seem like a type of girl that's from.
No, not
never?
once. Not once.
Bill,
no.
you?
I don't judge anybody ever based on their appearance. Why would I do that?
Exactly.
No, I mean, there's definitely people like when like I'll make jokes if somebody is at a show and they're wearing camo and I'm like, where are you from? And they're like, Medina. I'll be like, of course you are. Like that kind of thing. Like there's definitely things that will tip someone off, but you can't really tell because there's you're basing it more on fashion, I feel like, than anything else.
I think locally you could definitely tell. Like, I know a bitch from Lorraine when I see one.
and all right, so
I know a bitch from Elyria if I see one.
Then help us get on your wavelength. What are the defining characteristics?
Yes, what's a bitch from Lorraine look like?
The haircuts.
What haircut?
But you have to be specific. What haircut?
Okay, so if
for those of us who aren't bitches from Lorraine, what should we be looking for?
Okay, so for Lorraine, if they got a bunch of flags in their car. It doesn't have to be
That's
anything.
The car. We need to. It has to be the person.
But you could throw a dart at any county in the United States, and you could get that.
Yeah, based on you look at their car and the license plate where it says Lorraine in little letters at the bottom. I'm like that bitch from Lorraine.
Although I did when I parked in the parking lot of our hotel. I parked right next to a car with Georgia plates, and we both had our Chicago Bears license plate frame on.
There you go.
So you tell me.
Well,
that way people don't steal your car. Like, oh, they've suffered enough.
That's right. I'm very, very calculated in what I do there.
Don't you remember when we were doing this taste test with Erica when she said she can taste the ingredients if they're like the opposite? There's no explanation why, but just the way that my brain works, I'm like, oh, that's a bitch from Lorraine. That's a bitch from Elyria.
Right, but right, but you're also implying that you're right every time.
I know.
And that can't be true. I mean, we could line up people in the office and go, hey, where is this person from? Poundcake's going to look at his crystal ball, and we're going to march somebody in and go, hey, where are you from? We will take our newest sales girl who just started not long ago, and I think she's worked in a few cities, and we'll have you ask, hey, we'll go, where do you think she's from?
Okay.
And you'll have to guess.
Okay.
What other than the hairstyle for the bitches in Lorraine?
I don't know. I just have to see him. I just have to see him. I feel like the Elyria chicks, they also have like the who's the Kate Gosselin. She has a Kate Gosselin haircut. Normally, chick from Lorraine or from Elyria.
Isn't that like a suburban housewife Karen haircut? The mom.
It's a Karen haircut, but that's like I got a black boyfriend and black kids. But yes.
Black boyfriend and black kids.
And the Karen haircut.
Interesting.
You say so. I don't feel like
you don't feel convinced.
Well,
because the question is, have you ever been to St. Louis?
No.
Let's just take that as an example.
That's a very good question to ask.
So then when you go, Andy Cohen doesn't look like he's from St. Louis. No one knows what that means.
I just wouldn't have guessed that he was from St. Louis.
Because you associate him with New York.
I guess so.
Right. But most people like leave the place they're from if they want to be in New York or something, You're not going to hang out in St. Louis.
New York and LA are made up of transplants.
Yeah.
Like, they're mostly transplants.
I mean, there are a lot, that was a big thing in LA is they're like, nobody's from LA. There are a lot of people from LA. LA is still mostly people from LA. But yes, people ride the bus and get off and you go, boy, I never would have guessed you were from Merrillville, Indiana. I don't know how you
don't look like you're from Merrillville, Indiana.
But as a question, it's interesting. I just I don't know how you would nail that down. That's all. I got money here. It's $1,000. It's a chance to grab some cash from the Buzzard Bookie. It's your first of 5 this afternoon. So listen closely. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Dollar. That's dollar. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Lee says when he was in the military, after meeting people from all over the country and the world, certain people were definitely from certain areas. After being away from Ohio for a long time, I could spot someone from Ohio a mile away.
No, you don't have to spot them. You just go OH.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, again, I don't know what you mean by that either. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'll say this.
I guess
when I was in the Philippines and I saw someone that I thought was American, it's pretty easy to tell. I was like, hey, you're also white.
Right. Where's the McDonald's? They were asking around. Well, yeah, okay. I don't know how you would ascertain that, but there it is. If you want to leave us messages, you can. We had a long weekend. A lot of them came in on the After Hours line, which is 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan. Carlos here. Watching a movie on Freevee called Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. Horrible movie. It's like the old 80s movie. A lot of naked chicks running around. So,
Not
I mean,
terrible,
it's
though.
worth a watch.
Yeah. Okay, there's Carlos in Miami. Have you ever seen any of the Ginger Dead Man movies?
No, I have not.
Okay,
but
so-
it sounds like there's a lot of nudity, so
Yeah.
it seems like they're worth my while.
I'm surprised that because he was talking, there's this streaming service called Freevee. It used to be IMDb television, but then Amazon bought it. And so now Amazon has it. You ever watch Freevee?
I've seen some things on there, but not regularly.
Amazon has a free channel, but it's full of ads.
Yeah.
It's called Freevee. There's a show on there I watch called Bosch. It's like a detective cop show. And it used to be on Amazon Prime, then they moved it to IMDb TV, and then Amazon bought it. It's called Freevee, whatever. But there's a lot of weird stuff on there. But because there's so many ads, I thought maybe they weren't showing stuff that had nudity in it, but clearly they are. Ginger Dead Man, and the only reason I know this is because Gary Busey was in at least one of these movies. So there's a series of movies called The Ginger Dead Man, where, can you guess what it's about?
It's a gingerbread man that came to life and is a zombie that kills people, something like that.
They mixed the gingerbread cookie mix with the ashes of a dead serial killer.
I love that.
And then he terrorizes.
That's thinking outside the box.
I love it. So there's like 5 or 6 of them. And so what Carlos was watching was a movie called Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. And Evil Bong is another series of terrible movies. And so that one,
crossover.
They've crossed it over.
Mm.
Like Tommy Chong is in the Evil Bong one. And yeah. So now I want to watch that. Yeah, no, I remember one of those Ginger Dead Man movies. As a goof, they had offered Gary Busey $25,000, thinking that it was so insulting he'd say no way, but he took it. So then they had to write something for Gary Busey to do in the Ginger Dead Man movie.
That's pretty hilarious.
He played Millard Findlemeyer. So yeah, Ginger Dead Man is the serial killer's ashes were mixed in with some of the cookie mix, and it spawned a number of films. I don't know how many there are, but apparently they're over there on the Freevee. And listen, I posted a screen grab a few months ago, just clicking around Amazon in general, looking for terrible horror movies. And there's one called Terror at Blood Fart Lake. And unbelievably, it's not free. You got to pay for it. But if you want to rent it, it's from 2008. It's a 15-year-old movie.
Blood Fart Lake.
Terror at Blood Fart Lake is on Amazon Prime. When a group of college kids head off to their friend's cabin for a little high-octane sex weekend, they get more than they bargained for in the form of the evil scarecrow killer. Wait, he's killing scarecrows or he's dressed like a scarecrow? Jimmy Van Brunt. Anywho, Terror at Blood Fart Lake. Now, I don't know if there have been sequels to that. I don't know if that's a whole series of film. Oh, yeah, there's Return to Blood Fart Lake. Right. So, anyway, these are movies that have like
Blood Fart Lake 2, The Shark.
These are movies that have like a $50,000 budget, right? I mean, they look like student films.
But they make money.
I don't know if they do.
No, they do. That's why
they go
keep
right to
making them.
streaming. I mean,
right, but people will watch.
Yeah.
That's the one genre that people just go, I'll watch it, even if it's bad.
I think maybe it might have been a conversation that you and me and Mary were having in a break one time, where I didn't realize that like anybody can just put stuff on these streaming services.
Oh, yeah.
There's no gatekeepers.
I mean,
you just go, hey, here's my movie. I'd like it on Amazon Prime.
There's ways to submit through different companies, like basically the same way you would do a CD Baby or TuneCore or anything like that to get your albums on streaming services and for music. It's like that for movies now.
I had no idea that was what was
like
going on.
Film Hub is one of them.
Okay.
You can make a movie. Now, they still want to make sure it's enough quality that, like, you know, that they review it and everything, make sure there's captions, all these things. But yeah, they're...
Well, then what's the basement for quality? Because these are terrible movies. They're like an hour. Terror at Blood Fart Lake is an hour and 16 minutes long. And so, I mean...
I don't know what the basement is, but I know that they will...
It's got a 3...
As long as it has a, like, high enough quality that they can... You know, if they meet all the requirements, like the technical requirements,
that's all it is.
They'll post it up. Yeah,
I see. Well,
because whether or not people watch it, because think of it, if it's a movie like Terror at Blood Fart Lake, and people go, I don't want to watch that, but there's always a bunch of drunk college kids or stoners that see that and go, this is a hilarious name. I got to check this out.
Right.
So it does generate revenue because it puts it on things like Freevee and Tubi and stuff like that where they have ads.
Okay.
So they'll still generate some revenue, so it's worth it to them to submit it.
Well, it has a 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb. And the vast majority of the reviews are 1-star reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Another moronic escapade. Of course, one of the 1-star reviews is, for God's sake, see this movie.
See?
Yeah. What the F was this? Worst thing I have ever seen. Now, there is Evanescence music, so they got clearance for something. Now, that's Poundcake's, famously, if you're a fan of the show here, you know that Evanescence is Poundcake's favorite heavy metal band. I was growling in the car on the way to school this morning, not only keeping an eye on the speed limit, because I've been getting traffic tickets recently, so I got that going on when I'm trying to have a conversation with my kid on the way to school. But that Panic at the Disco song comes on. And it's just
Which
the worst.
one?
Oh, the only one. I Write Sins, Not Tragedy. It's just awful, terrible. But my daughter likes it because she's 7. And that's the kind of stuff that scratches you where you itch when you're in the 2nd grade. But, of course, that's also Poundcake's favorite punk band. And so I'm just sitting there, like, getting all frothed up listening to that song.
Does she know all the lyrics?
No. She knows there's a curse in there. That's all she knows. There's a swear.
And
that's...
Do you let her say it? Are you a cool dad where you're like, you can say it?
Let my 2-year-old, my 2nd grader say goddamn? No. Does that make you a cool dad?
Yeah.
I'm not a cool dad. Cool. I'm a dad. I'm not a cool dad. I don't even know what that means. No, I don't want my 7-year-old saying goddamn.
Okay.
I'm surprised that they didn't cut it out. A lot of times they'll cut it out. That one they didn't.
Damn is not a bad word, according to radio.
Well, okay.
S's and F's.
Right. Tell me more, Mr. FCC.
Mm-hmm.
Way to educate it, Poundcake.
S's and F's. Yeah, well, this is satellite. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I'm just saying my daughter was not. No, she's not somebody that's singing in the car. I'll be punching her.
Doesn't like that.
Well, that's true. I don't. But if she wanted to do it, she absolutely can. It's when grown-ups sing along. I'm like, stop. But she's not a sing-along person. She just goes, could you turn this up?
She just likes to rock out.
Yeah. I go, okay. So if it's
so at what point were you growling?
Because the song sucks.
It doesn't suck.
It's terrible.
It's not
It's
terrible.
overwritten. It's got its head up its own ass. It's just one of those super pretentious. I just don't like it. But I know you do. So by proxy, I want my daughter to enjoy what's on the radio, but I'm also getting mad at you.
Give her the single, the second single, but it's better if you do. That's
no,
good.
let's
Lying
not.
is the most fun without taking your clothes off.
I'm not going to enable bad decision making in my child. I won't do it. I'm using you as a cautionary tale. Thank you.
9 in the afternoon.
Not even a thing. That's what I mean. Oh, I've got a break. If you want to text 35192. If you want to go see Five Nights at Freddy's, this was a game a while back, and they have made a film adaptation of it. Josh Hutcherson, remember him? The Hunger Games. We're going to do an advanced screening of it next Wednesday night out at Valley View, and then it's going